Hey everyone, imagine like a clock ticking down, but not to midnight on New Year's Eve, but to the moment AI potentially spins out of control. That sounds like a sci-fi thriller, right? Well, it's closer to reality than you might think. We're diving into the AI safety clock, created by IMD. And get this, it's currently sitting at a pretty unsettling 29 minutes to midnight. That's right, folks, less than half an hour on this metaphorical clock stands between us and a potential AI apocalypse. So, what exactly does this mean? And why should you be losing sleep over it? It's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Yeah, what's really interesting here is this clock, it isn't just some arbitrary measure or just, trying to scare people. IMD actually developed a pretty rigorous methodology to calculate this time. They're considering some very real and present factors here.
Okay, so walk us through it. How does this clock actually work? What makes it tick faster or slower?
Well, they focus on three main areas. The first is AI sophistication. So we're talking about how quickly AI models are evolving. And they're even surpassing human capabilities in certain areas. It's not just about beating, grandmasters at chess anymore. We're talking about AI that can diagnose diseases, compose music, write code. The advancements are happening at an incredible pace.
Okay, so that's one piece of the puzzle. What else is IMD looking at?
The second factor is autonomy, meaning the ability of AI to operate and make decisions, get this, without human intervention. And this is where things start to get a little bit, scary. We're not just talking about AI that follows pre-programmed instructions anymore. We're talking about AI that can learn, adapt, and potentially make decisions that we haven't anticipated or even fully understand.
Yeah, the thought of an AI making life-altering decisions without any human oversight is definitely unnerving.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the third factor, right? The connection to the physical world.
Precisely. This is where those doomsday scenarios really start to take shape. Imagine AI controlling critical infrastructure, like power grids, transportation systems, even military weapons. If an AI with that level of access were to, go rogue, the consequences could be catastrophic.
So we've got AI getting smarter, more independent, and increasingly connected to the systems that run our world. It's a pretty intense combination, to say the least. But hold on, didn't you mention that regulations can also influence the clock? Does that mean there's hope for, slowing this countdown?
Absolutely. The regulatory landscape plays a crucial role here. For example, the EU's AI Act, which aims to ensure ethical and transparent AI development. It actually helps to push the clock away from midnight. It's like a safety net, trying to keep AI development on a more responsible path.
Okay, so that's encouraging. But then why are we still so close to midnight? What's pushing us in the wrong direction?
Well, look at the recent veto of a California AI safety bill. This is a prime example of how a lack of regulation or even pushback against it can accelerate the countdown. The bill, it aimed to establish safety protocols for AI development. But concerns about stifling innovation ultimately led to its demise. And that's the dilemma, isn't it? How do we balance the incredible potential of AI with the very real risks it poses?
It's like walking a tightrope. Right? We want to encourage progress, but not at the cost of unleashing an AI that we can't control. But let's get real here. What are some of the tangible dangers of AI, like spiraling out of control? We're talking doomsday scenarios, right? What could that actually look like?
Well, one of the most, pressing dangers is the potential for misinformation and manipulation, on a scale we've never seen before. Think about AI-powered deepfakes, so convincing they could spark international incidents or even, topple governments.
Yeah, like that deepfake of Vladimir Putin declaring peace with Ukraine. That had everyone in a frenzy for a few hours.
Exactly. Now imagine that on a global scale, targeting elections, financial markets, you name it. The erosion of trust in information, it could be devastating.
It's scary to think how easily chaos could be unleashed with, AI as a weapon.
And speaking of weapons, the potential for AI-driven warfare is another chilling aspect of this doomsday scenario.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about simple targeting systems anymore. We're talking about autonomous weapon systems, making, life or death decisions without human intervention.
So basically, the Terminator scenario is more than just Hollywood fiction.
It's not that far-fetched, unfortunately. The potential for unintended consequences, escalation, and the sheer lack of human control in such a scenario, it's truly terrifying.
And it's not just about bombs and bullets, right? What about the economic fallout? We've already seen AI disrupting certain industries, but a full-blown AI doomsday could completely upend the global economy.
Absolutely. We're talking about, mass unemployment as AI takes over jobs, not just in manufacturing, but also in, white-collar professions like law. finance, even medicine. Imagine entire sectors collapsing, leading to social unrest and economic instability on a global scale.
So it's not just about robots taking over. It's about a fundamental shift in the way our world functions. And if we're heading towards this potential AI doomsday, can we actually do anything to stop it? Is regulation even possible with a technology that's evolving so rapidly?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's where things get really complicated. On one hand, we need to establish safeguards, ethical guidelines, and regulations to ensure AI development, serves humanity, not the other way around.
But isn't that where the tension lies?
Yeah.
We've already seen how the push for regulation can be met with resistance from those who fear it will, like stifle innovation and progress. Like that clash between California Governor Gavin Newsom and SAP CEO Christian Klein.
Precisely. Newsom argued that strict regulations could hinder the very advancements that drive progress, while Klein expressed concerns that over-regulation could weaken Europe's position in the global AI race. It's a tough balancing act.
It feels like we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. If we don't regulate, we risk a potential AI doomsday. But if we regulate too heavily, we could stifle innovation and potentially fall behind in this global AI race. So what's the solution? Is there a way to navigate this dilemma effectively?
Well, one of the most crucial aspects is international collaboration. We need a unified approach, perhaps even a global body, similar to the International Atomic Energy Agency, to establish and enforce consistent standards for AI development worldwide.
That sounds ideal. But realistically, achieving global consensus on something as complex as AI regulation, that seems like a massive undertaking. How do we even begin to bridge the gaps between different national interests, varying levels of technological development, and potentially conflicting ethical frameworks?
Yeah, it's a daunting challenge for sure, but one we can't afford to ignore. So let's shift gears a bit. Assuming we can, figure out this whole global collaboration thing, what specific actions can we take to kind of steer AI development in a safer direction?
Well, robust regulations that prioritize ethical considerations, but without stifling innovation are key. Think of it like building guardrails to ensure AI stays on track, to serve humanity.
It can't just be about governments setting rules, right? Corporations developing these AI systems have a huge responsibility too.
Absolutely. Imagine a world where every AI development team has embedded risk experts, actively anticipating and mitigating potential dangers from day one. That's the kind of, proactive approach we need. So it's a combination of like top-down regulations and bottom-up corporate responsibility. But what about us, the everyday folks? Do we just sit back and hope for the best? Or is there something we can do?
We all have a role to play here. Staying informed about AI and its implications is crucial. We need to understand the potential risks, engage in informed discussions, and demand transparency and accountability from those developing and deploying these technologies.
So it's about being aware, asking the right questions, and holding both governments and corporations accountable for responsible AI development. Kind of like what we're doing right now with this deep dive right
Exactly. The more we understand about this complex issue, the better equipped we are to navigate it. Remember, the AI safety clock is a call to action, not a reason to despair.
It's a reminder that we're not powerless in this, unfolding narrative. We have the ability to shape the future of AI. And it starts with understanding the stakes, engaging in meaningful conversations, and demanding responsible development from those who hold the reins. So as we wrap up this deep dive, dear listener, I leave you with this. Knowing what you now know about the AI safety clock and the potential for a doomsday scenario, what role will you play in ensuring AI remains a force for good?